Hey, what's going on, guys? I want to encourage you guys with this word today. So many of us are struggling with impatience. We're struggling with just waiting on the Lord. And if you're like me, which I struggle with that as well, many of us have been given promises. We've been given callings, blessings, different things that the Lord wants to open doors for us in our lives. But so many times we just get impatient with the timing of it. And we think that we want it now and we want it so quickly, and we just demand that it's done so instantaneously. And we live in a society and in a world where we just are so quick for everything. We have our phones in our hands, we have just internet right at our disposal, and we just want all of our answers. We want all of our open doors, our blessings, our callings, our responsibilities, everything to be done and to come to us so quickly. And as I was just reading the Bible and reading some passages, I was just encouraged by Noah and what Noah was. And I know whenever you read that story, you just think, oh, it's a flood story. God came and he saved a bunch of people, and they were in an ark and all the animals were saved, and happy ending story, and the rest of the earth had regenerated. And if you believe the Bible, like I believe the Bible, I know that that's a true story, and that God had allowed Noah to build the ark for a certain amount of time. Scholars say as short as 55 years up to 120 years. I don't know, but it's more than definitely a year. It's more than a decade in what I believe as I read the Bible. And it's a long time. And so many of us, we just overlook that. We don't really understand the gravity of how much the Lord was honored, and he was given that credit. And even for Abraham, as he waited 25 years for a child with Sarai, and the Bible says it was credited to him as righteousness for waiting. And we just don't realize, and we don't see what that wait is like. And if you think about it and really put yourself in the shoes of Noah, if you put yourself in the shoes of Abraham, you're literally living your life. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, God comes to you and God says, I want you to build this ark, and I'm going to allow a flood to come on this earth. I need you to save, all these animals, and you need to pick all these, foods, and I'm going to allow this destruction to come upon this earth. And you hear that, and however way you heard it, maybe you heard it through a voice, maybe God appeared to you in the sky, whatever it is, but the Lord spoke to Noah, and that was very evident and very clear for Noah, so much so that he allowed himself to start building the ark. He started collecting lumber, and for days and months and years, and as time went on, he just kept being faithful in building and waiting upon the Lord. And so many of us, we don't really understand the gravity of that situation, because as you are building and as you are trying your best to not only convince your family and your wife, and I'm sure he had to talk about it, and I don't know what society was like back then, but I'm pretty sure word got around that this dude Noah, he's building some kind of ark, and he's building some kind of big ship for apparently some kind of water or rain or flood that is going to come on this earth, for which no one really knew what that was before that point in time. And this dude is just building away years and years and decades. And people are literally looking at him, and they're like, Noah, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you building, Noah? Like, what did you hear? You heard a voice like years ago, and you're still holding to that? And you think that the flood is going to come, wipe up everybody off this earth, and you're just going to get like saved? That's what you heard, and that's what you're holding to? And other people are just literally going the rounds and spreading the rumors and saying, look at this dude Noah, look at this guy who's just being so silly, being so stupid, and he is doing something that nobody else in the world is doing, and it sounds very idiotic. And he's getting mocked, he's getting pressured, and all this time, 20 years pass by, 30 years pass by, 40 years pass by, 50 years pass by, and he's just pounding away his nails and hammers or whatever he's doing to build this ark, and he's still living his life, and he's saying to himself, I know what this promise was. I know what I heard 50 years ago. I know what I heard that was from the Lord. And for so many people, they can't handle that. And if you put yourself in Noah's shoes, you really have to credit that to him as righteousness, similar to what Abraham was. Because when you have that kind of faith, when you have that kind of patience to wait, when you allow the Lord to really work, and for whatever reasons he allowed that amount of time to pass before the flood came, he did that. And he has his reasons. But the point is, Noah was faithful. Abraham was faithful in waiting and not deterring left and right and being so gobbled up by the temptations of other people. And imagine someone coming to you and literally saying, hey man, like, I'm just going to be nice. I know all these other guys are mocking you, but you should really reconsider what this ark is about. I mean, I just want to talk to you rationally. And I don't know if it makes sense that you continue building your ark. It doesn't make sense for you to wait on that job. I don't think you should wait any longer. Waiting on that promise, that marriage, or that calling, that blessing. I think you should move on. I think you should do something different, because I believe that you may not have heard from the Lord. And imagine these people coming to Noah, and Noah one day, 45 years in, says, you know what? You're right. What was I thinking? What was I thinking, believing that I heard something from the Lord 45, 55, 80 years ago? What am I doing? I feel so stupid. I feel so silly waiting on the Lord. And imagine if he gave up and said, okay, I'm going to stop building this ark. I'm going to just quit and live my life. What would humanity have been? It would have been wiped out. And obviously that didn't happen, because Noah waited and he patiently allowed God's promise to come to pass. And so many of us, if we were to have been given that responsibility or that calling, you would crumble. Many of us would crumble. Many of us would not fathom being able to wait that amount of time, because we don't have patience and we don't have a stillness before the Lord and trying to discern what his voice is, A, and then B, being able to really in faith wait upon that and allow him to work through that circumstance. Whether we understand the process or not, we allow him to wait and work, so that once he delivers that promise at the appointed time, then the fruit happens, the blessings happen, the work happens, the kingdom is pushed, whatever it is. Just want to encourage you guys, if you guys are struggling with that, if you are looking at your life, your circumstances, whether it's at an individual level for whatever calling you've received, or if you're looking at it in a big picture level, especially with the different things that are going on right now. Many of you guys really won't be able to pass that test, a basic test of even waiting a few months, a few years, a few days, whatever it is. But to be able to wait 55 years, 120 years, however many decades it is, that is going to allow some of you guys to really pee your pants. Sorry for that. But a lot of us, we don't really understand that. We don't understand patience. We don't really grow in patience. I want to encourage you guys that as you're really hearing, and this is for those that genuinely heard from the Lord, genuinely believe this is what God called them to do, that this is the open door that he has for you, that this is, the job opportunity or whatever it is that the Lord has put on your heart. And if you genuinely believe and know that that's from the Lord, don't let a lot of things rob that from you, because quite honestly, that's demonic activity. That could be satanic activity that is distracting you, robbing you from your blessing, because the devil wants to place from external people that talk at you, all the way to the smallest of things, doubt that creeps in your mind, hesitation, all these things mentally to allow you to give up and to go to a plan B or something less optimal for your life. And so many people, they miss it. And to be honest, a lot of people, they miss their destiny. They miss what God has for them. And God had a big plan for them, but because they were so succumbed, so submissive to their sins and to the temptations and to the different things of the world, they missed out. And it's so sad, because that's true for so many people around the world. And so I want to encourage you guys, if you are in a position where God is calling you to do something, to wait upon something, to really take heart and to really pray and to really ask, Lord, I'm waiting on you, and I want to fight this battle of patience. I want to fight this battle of distraction, of dissension, of other people that are going to cloud what it is that God has for you. And so if you're struggling with that, be encouraged, because Noah, he had a big story. Abraham had a big story. And so many other people living even right now in this moment in time. They have a story and they are waiting. And God has that plan for those that wait upon him. And so his timing's perfect. His timing is, there's reason behind it. I just want to let you know that the Lord has that for you. He has that blessing for you. He has that open door for you. And he wants you to come to him in humility and to really just seek him during this time of waiting, because you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out on what God has for you, your destiny, and just these open doors. So don't get distracted. Stay prayed up, stay committed, and stay attuned to the Lord and abide in him. So he will work out all things for your good, for those that are called according to his purpose. So God bless you guys, and we'll talk soon.